Hello beautiful people and welcome to the channel Life After Narc. My name's Debbie and I talk about all things to do with narcissistic, abusive and toxic relationships, as well as looking at healing from them. Today's video, the victim, the survivor, the thriver. Before I get into the subject though, if you enjoy the channel, please click the like button, please subscribe and share the video with your friends, family, anybody who you think will benefit from this. There's a whole community on YouTube at the moment, a whole movement of educating people around narcissistic, abusive and toxic behavior, and that we don't have to put up with it. So you are the victim. Yes, you are. And it's horrible. You've been hurt. You've been in this narcissistic relationship. You have been abused physically, mentally, emotionally. You've been used, you've given all your supply to this person, and you feel wretched. You are writhing on the floor. They've gone or you've left, but you are heartbroken. Your heart is shattered into a million pieces and possibly had a wonderful ice pick stabbed into your heart and twisted to make things even worse. You don't know what you did wrong. What did you do to deserve this? You didn't do anything to deserve this. Nothing. This is not your fault at all. This is all them. They are the ones to blame, not you. You thought they loved you. You really did. I did. You know, we all thought that this person loved us. They professed their love to us. But now you are lost, alone, and you're grieving this, and you just don't know what to do. You're in this state of overwhelm. And everything is insurmountable. The mountains that you've got to climb to get through this are huge. Your emotions take over your body, take over your life. And this is part of the healing process. This is probably the most difficult part, and it's all down to the trauma bond. I'm going to put a link in the description box below to a video that I did about the trauma bond. So if you want to find out a little bit more about that, you can do. They will say that they are the victim, and all their flying monkeys and all their friends and the smear campaign that they've done with their friends and family will agree with them. And they will get their flying monkeys to tell you that they're the victim and you are the perpetrator. Do not believe them for one moment. You are the victim. You are the one that's been abused. You are the one that has been devalued and discarded. But really, you're not a victim. You're a survivor. You made it. You made it through to the other side. You didn't commit suicide. They didn't commit femicide. You are still here and you can be strong again. You can. It takes time. Healing isn't linear. It doesn't happen overnight. I saw something this morning when I was on social media and I saw somebody comment that they'd been no contact with their partner for a week and they wanted to contact them and get hold of them and they wondered why. Well, this is the trauma bond. This is what it does. But I'm a year on over and I still get that trauma bond feeling, that feeling of wanting to speak to them, wanting to find out how they are, wanting to ask them, why did you do what you did? Why did you say what you did? Why couldn't you leave like an adult instead of like a child? Your whole world has collapsed, but you have survived. You've got through probably the worst thing you'll ever go through in your life, bar death of a loved one or bar a miscarriage if you've experienced one. So you've experienced this hurt. You were a victim, but now you're a survivor. As I say, now you begin to heal. It's time for you to start putting yourself and your family, if you have children, first. Seek therapy if you can. I know that it's out of the grasp of some of us because we can't afford it. Find some friends who you trust, who you can speak to about this. You need somebody to listen to you. No matter how many times you go over this in your mind, the rumination that goes on, you need to speak to this, about this to somebody. Try and find a support group in your area if you can. Also ring Women's Aid. They often have links to local aid groups in your area. For example, the Elm Foundation is one that I used and they helped me. They ask you a whole lot of questions. You find out how abusive your partner was, and then If necessary, you get to lay charges against them for any physical abuse they perpetrated on you. Also, what I would suggest is making a list of all the horrible things they did, and every time you want to contact them, every time you miss them, pick that list up and read it and think about the worst thing that they did to you. Whether that was an attempted rape, whether you were being pinned to the floor, whether they had a temper tantrum and threw something across the room and broke it, whether they had a temper tantrum and perhaps damaged something that meant great importance to you, such as wedding rings or a gift or an ornament that meant something to you. They do this deliberately. It's part of their supply. They need this in order for them to feel superior to you. I've got a playlist below called Narcissistic Healing, I think it is. Have a look through that. There's quite a lot of healing videos on there, some meditations and so on that you may like to do as well. But only you can heal yourself. And as I say, this is not a linear time. You can't, you know, some days you're going to go 5 steps forwards and some days 3 steps back. And it does get easier over time. The rumination does calm down. But read, educate yourself around this horrible phenomena that's happening all around the world. 1 in 4 women are abused. So I'm pretty sure that in your circle of friends, you know somebody else who's been abused and they don't say anything, and we don't say anything, do we? We just suck it up and live with it because we love this person so much. And we think under false pretenses that they love us, but they don't. All they want is to abuse us and hurt us because that makes them happy. Block them on social media, guys. This is very important. All your social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, MySpace, if you still have a MySpace, LinkedIn. Block them on your email. Send them to spam if you need to. If you still need to contact them, then I would suggest using email, so you might need to keep that open. But try to avoid using text messages, Messenger or WhatsApp, because all of those messages will end up in verbal abuse from him, and you'll be confused and you'll be asking all these questions. So if you need to have contact with your narcissist, for example, if you've got children or you need to organize things in the future, let it be through email and keep your language as succinct as possible. Keep it businesslike. Don't go into emotional depth or detail, because they will get supply from that. It's no use asking them why you did this because they don't care. They'll do it again to the next person. Journaling is an excellent way to start healing. I journal nearly every day now, and I found that over time my journal has gone from one of tears and rage to one of kindness to myself, one of realizing that I was not to blame. And now it's time for you to set a new future. I know you don't want to think about it. You have this future. You have this future already set up with your ex, with your narcissist. You were going to grow old together, travel the world together, have children together, have grandchildren together. You were going to live that life, watch the sunset with a glass of wine each. And now that future that you had has been taken away from you. And that's called future faking. I'll be doing a video on that in the future as well. And I'm not future faking you. So now you have to find yourself, not the self that you were before the narcissist, not the self that you were in the narcissistic relationship, but the self that you are now, the self that has learned all of these despicable lessons, all of these horrible things that have happened to you. You can now learn from and move forwards, reinvent yourself, become the best version of you that you can be, because you are a survivor and you will go on to be a thriver. Now, if you've enjoyed the video, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you next time. Blessed be.